Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Uh, Thank you. Oh, that's what I need to do. Let me see who was here first. Lorna Williams, thank you ever so much for being here first, and thank you so much for being a part of Royal Sussex. And also, you have a membership. Greatly appreciated. Hello, Peach Rose, CK. Uh, and Caroline, Rodney Jackson, Phyllis Johnson, okay, and Blue Draws, uh, okay, and Bunny Rose. Did I say that already? I feel like I'm repeating myself. So why don't I just get on with it since it's so late on a work night? Hello to you too, Cookies and Cream. Thank you so much for being here. And Karen Damaris, thank you. All right. Well. Let me take that away. So, Duchess Meghan's ring. Interesting, right? A right royal plot. Princess Anne should deal with Harry and Meghan. Oh, really? And of course, where's Kate Middleton? That's always something that I'm eager to find out. Where is Kate Middleton? Um, hmm. So I have a new theory. It's not really a new theory. It's kind of a recycled theory, but a theory nonetheless. But I will share it with you in due time. Absolutely. Oh, uh-oh. I done missed the birthday. Wait a minute. Oh no, it's the weekend of a birthday. I thought I was in trouble. Okay, I thought I'd missed a birthday, but I did not. All right. Let's see. Michelle Cartwright, thank you so much for being here. Susie Q. Hi, Susie Q. Yulibi, Karen Williams, Nasdaq, Brenda Lee. Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee. Hey, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee. Hey, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee. Hey, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee. My heart is aching for you, Brenda Lee. My heart is aching. Remember that song, Mr. Lee? For you, Brenda Lee. Cause you're gonna be mine till the end of time. Now that song is gonna be stuck in your head all day. Come on, Brenda Lee, and do your stuff. Come on, Brenda Lee, and do your stuff. Cause you're gonna be mine. Let me see. What did I do with my bell? Uh-oh. Where's my bell? Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee, Brenda Lee. Oh, there it is, right behind the coffee cup. Right behind the coffee cup. Okay. I love that song. Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. Hey, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. They don't make them like that no more. Sharon Chung, thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right. Black Queen is in the house. Still don't know how Black Queen got her own little logo here, but that's cool. That's cool. It happens. Sometimes you get lucky, right? All right. Well, there we go. So, diamonds are forever, forever. Well, the diamond, what can we say? There are cultivated factory, what is it, lab grown diamonds. And then there's the old diamonds from the earth. Time, pressure, heat, all of that is what it takes to turn carbon, or in a practical sense, a piece of charcoal, and you give it enough time, pressure, and heat, and it turns into a diamond. it solidifies into the hardest substance in the world. Did you guys know that diamonds are the hardest substance in the world? Hard. I mean, it's also somewhat brittle, but it is the hardest substance in the world. But give it the right vibration, and it'll shatter like glass. So, according to this survey, uh, Meghan Markle's engagement ring crowned most iconic royal ring as she beats Kate. Of course, she does. Um, if you take a look there, it says searches for uh, Meghan's ring 586,000, right? Post on X 1,270, and mentions 2,262 for a total of 10%, right? I mean, positive sentiment 10%, and a total of 71%. So 71, followed by Diana's with 62, followed by Kate with 32, followed by Beatrice with 12, and Eugenie with 10. So I'm sure you're a little confused about why is it you would see Diana and Kate separate. I mean, after all, it is an engagement ring. But when people are searching for that person, when they're interested in that individual and they're looking for that ring, then that's all that matters. So there you go. Okay, so it says in that very small, unbaby boom, I mean, unbaby boomer friendly print. Meghan Markle recently wore her engagement ring again during her trip to Canada, and now a new study has crowned it the most iconic and most searched for royal engagement rings in 2023. You know, there's something to be said about that because a lot of people were disappointed with Meghan's wedding gown because they expected, should I say, and possibly wanted something more elaborate. But that's not who Meghan is. Meghan is clean lines, contemporary, something that should look good on everyone. And that's exactly what the gown is. Um, Not everybody can rock lace, or, in other words, not everybody wants to look like Grace Kelly. That was a different time and a different place. But Meghan's wedding gown is actually more popular because it is every woman's gown. That is every woman's ring. And I don't know whose idea it was to embellish it with more diamonds, possibly Harry. Um, I don't think that if I had to decide whose idea that was, I'm going to say it was probably Harry's. And perhaps Harry had some leftover diamonds from his mother's collection and just wanted to put them on the ring. So the ring is a work in progress, I think. I think it is going to be altered several times over the years, depending on the mood of the family, and of course, based on the children and eventually grandchildren. There may be some things that we don't see with the ring, and in other words, some engraving inside the band of the ring. But no matter how you look at it, the ring has been quite organic. It evolves, and that's a good thing. And remember, it's made with what little Welsh gold that is left. I don't think it's been quite some time since they found some gold in Wales, but it's made from Welsh gold. And of course, two of the larger diamonds come from Princess Diana's collection. Harry himself designed the ring, which is the other reason why I'm inclined to believe that it was Harry who wanted to add more diamonds. And so um, Meghan was without the ring before, and then suddenly we found that there were diamonds added to the band of the ring, and then of course most recently, which there's a movement among a lot of women that they don't want to wear their rings all the time, and I also have to tell you this: there's also been a movement where people have uh, actually purchased a replica of their ring because they want to make sure that the ring is very safe. Not saying that that's what they've done, but there's a lot of reasons why people remove their rings over a period of time and it reappears, and it may be another setting, it may be a redesign, or there may even be a replica in the works. You just never know. But it's nobody's business but Harry and Meghan's. Let's see. Suzanne Martin says, I love her gown, gorgeous lines. It emphasized Meghan's pure beauty. The word for the gown, purity. I love it. I loved the ceremony. Full of warmth, fabulous music. Here, here. I agree with you. I agree with you. It was said before that Meghan, one of the things that inspired her, well, one of the people that inspired her was oh gosh, Bissett Kennedy. Oh gosh, what was her? Carolyn? Was it Carolyn Bissett Kennedy? Anyway, that was one of the uh, people that, and also there's a little influence from Audrey Hepburn. The little way that the shoes kind of peek out the bottom of it, that was definitely an Audrey Hepburn, as well as the shoulders. The boat neck shoulder, that was also inspired by Audrey Hepburn. So there was a lot of things, a lot of elements that was purely Meghan's idea for the gown, along with um, Wade Keller, that who actually designed the gown, and I believe it was like a double ply silk. Anyways, I think they doubled it just to give it that, so that it would lay properly. But anyway, it was a beautiful gown, and of course the veil, which had the flowers of the 53 Commonwealth nations, as well as something from um, California, the California poppy, I believe it was, as well as the flowers from the realms of the United Kingdom. So they satisfied a lot of things with that gown, and the appeal of it, because of its simplicity, it will be timeless. There will never be a time where someone could not wear that gown and not look absolutely elegant and in the moment and all that other stuff. So very, very cool. All right, moving on. So right there, you can see the resurgence of royal engagement rings in 2023. The rarity of the royal engagement ring never diminishes, and the women, that is, of the royal family, celebrated for their charity work and style, stand out as icons. In the realm of engagement rings, regal jewelry constantly radiates opulence and grandeur. And of course, the same thing in 2023, Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, owns the most iconic royal engagement ring designed by Prince Harry. It boasts a cushioned yellow gold setting adorned with a diamond trilogy, uh, garnering 586,000 Google searches. Meghan's ring received over 7 times more searches than Kate Middleton's. Over 7 times more. Because um, you would imagine that a lot of people getting married around this period of time are more likely to be, um, shall we say, Sussex supporters, women especially, that young women, career women, empowered women who gravitate, who are just drawn into Meghan's orbit because of the woman that she is, the very modern woman that she is. Of course, when they get married, they want to channel Meghan Markle. It's a good place to start. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So, right there, but check this out. I actually found a receipt while I was prepping for tonight. Meghan Markle's diamond engagement ring is most popular in UK, beating Kate Middleton. Notice the date. Notice the date. September the 24th, 2021. So, as it is today, such as it was back then, it continues to be a favorite. It continues to be inspiring. How about that? So, you have the column from today, but if you go back to September the 24th, 2021, during the height of the global pandemic, when people were dreaming and wishing and hoping for a better future, where did they start? With the Duchess of Sussex. And need I remind you all that I believe it was NBC that while they were planning coverage for the royal wedding in 2011, they actually cut back on the coverage of poor Willie and Kate's wedding. They didn't find that there was as much interest as they assumed it would be. And I myself, who woke up in the wee hours of the morning back in 1981 to watch Princess Diana's wedding, I never, ever watched Willie and Kate's all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. And then one day I said, you know what? And of course, this was before all the hard times and everything, um, before all the hurt feelings, before all the plotting and scheming. I said to myself, I'm going to watch that wedding. I found myself skipping through huge portions of it. Um, I just couldn't. It was boring. Woo! It was boring. I mean, it was so boring. I couldn't hardly hold my head up. I mean, my head was just bobbing up and down. I was blinking like I dream a genie. Yeah, I couldn't survive it. So I skipped through it and then I turned it off. It was boring. VS Speaks Royal, thank you so much for being here. And if you take a look here, never forget Prince William only decided to marry Kate after being refused by Jekka Craig, allegedly. He proposed to Jekka using Diana's ring, but she said no. So he got back together with Kate, engaging her on Jekka's ranch um, in what is it, Laikipia, Kenya, whatever that was. Yeah. So she said no, allegedly. Um, and there you go. Um, it was very difficult. It was very difficult for William to find a mate, a wife, because nobody wanted to be in that position. And least of all, there was nothing about him that could attract a mate. Now, Harry seemed to do much better, except for one thing. The press did everything they could to drive them away. And of course, Kate allegedly was another obstruction. Kate never seemed to get along with any of the girlfriends that Harry brought around. But they didn't decide to not marry because of Kate or any other reason besides the incredible amount of pressure that was put upon them and their family. But along comes the Duchess of Sussex, who saw something in Harry that possibly he never saw in himself. As they say, behind every great man, there's a great woman. And, well, incredible things have happened for both of them, to be honest with you, for both of them. But uh, I hate to think where Harry would be right now if it wasn't for the fact that he met someone incredible like our Duchess. So, um, but that ring, I do believe there is a jinx on that blue sapphire diamond ring. If you take a look there, I promise you, I know that there is a glare on that ring, but it almost looks like there's something sinister staring back at us, right? You see that? It almost seems like there is a face, maybe the face of one of the ancestors or something, but there is something jinxy about that ring. I don't know who in the world would want to wear that. And of course, never take it off. Oh man, I would have to experiment with taking it off just to see if life doesn't improve. But it is a jinx, and anybody with any sense should never want to wear that thing. But what's so funny to me is that even when they make cartoon characterizations of Willie, why do they always make sure that his teeth are yellow? They make sure that they stick as close to the truth as possible, yellow teeth and all. But oh, let's see. Baron, don't spook me. It does, though. Yikes. Yeah, it does kind of look. I found another image where they had a face, but I do believe that the other one, the face was superimposed, is scary looking. And I deliberately made sure that I didn't use that photo. Oh, let's see. Double down, huh? Yulibi, I'm gonna discuss that. I am. I am. I have some theories about that. Oh, Fancy Walsum, I'm so glad you're feeling better. I am so glad you're feeling better. Thanks for letting us know. Thank you for letting us know. We are sending all kind of positive thoughts and prayers and energy to you as we speak. All right. Thank you for sharing, Fancy Wilson. Okay. Tash Mack says, I forgot about Will and Kate's wedding until I turned the TV on and heard them talking about but never appeared. I turned TV on. Oh, man. Let me see. That was 2011. Oh, where was I working at that time? I think I was working on Saturdays. So if it was on a Saturday, I'm pretty sure I missed it. Oh, yeah. I know exactly where I was. And I know what I was probably doing at that time too. So yeah. You know what? I know I went to the UK in 2009, and I will know I went in 2007, but I don't think I was there that year either. No, it was meant for me to go to the Sussex wedding. That just fell into place. And if you just joined us, let me tell you the very short version of the story. They advertised sales on flights to the UK, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to book a ticket." And it just so happens it was Thanksgiving, and then um, the next day, I heard that there was an engagement, right? Harry and Meghan, they were engaged. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Well, if I'm in the UK during that period, I'll go and hang out in the crowd at the wedding. So I had just happened to plan the trip for April through June. And I was fortunate enough to be there not only for the wedding, but also for Trooping the Colors. So I was able to see the Sussexes twice on that same grand tour of Europe. So very, very cool, just by chance. And from Thanksgiving all the way up until the wedding, I did nothing but study and learn about the Sussexes. Well, at that time, Harry and Meghan. But I knew a lot about them by the time the wedding happened. And then after the wedding, I kind of walked in their footsteps. I went to Cardiff and I went to the St. George Chapel. And where else did I go? I went to Scotland and I went to the Westminster Abbey, a few places I had went to, kind of walking in their footsteps. So that was fun. And another little thing that happened just by chance, the bouquet used by the royal bride is placed on the grave of the unknown soldier at Westminster Abbey. And the day I went to Westminster Abbey, which was like a day or two after the wedding, I walk in and what do you know? There's the bouquet right there in front of me. I literally could have reached down and picked it up. Although they did have one of the people from the Westminster Abbey there kind of patrolling. And that was the one day that I decided to break that rule about not taking any photos. I took a photo of it. Say, yeah, I'm usually not that person, but today I break the rules. And so I did. Let me see if I can find it. Westminster. Westminster. Oh, there's no T, is it? Westminster. There is a T in it. Hmm. Let me see. Abbey. Oh boy, how come that's not working? Okay. All right. Now, the Abbey, Westminster Abbey. Okay, so I don't see it. Yeah, if you haven't been to Westminster Abbey, oh my God, that place is intense. That place is intense. It's like a what do you call it? It's like a well, it's to put it frankly, it's like a cemetery. It really is. There are people buried all around you. Every place you look, there's some type of. I think they said it's like what, some 2,000 people buried there. Huh, sorry, you guys can't find it. Huh, that's weird. Usually that works, but not today. Not today. All right, never mind. Let me move on. Okay. Take a look at a couple more of your comments. Hmm. Let's see. Francine Mosley says, I was also at the Harry and Meghan's wedding, and the vibe was so positive and happy. I love suits, so I was so excited. Yes, it was palpable, the energy that was there. I felt so energized. I was so happy and just, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, ever since I was a teenager, I dreamed of being at one of those events like that. And there I was, um, right there, watching things on the big Jumbotron. And it was pretty cool. Okay, moving on. So, as you can see, they made sure that there was a ring created for the queen consort, something that seemed to something that seemed very personal to her, something that identifies with her. Um, And as you can see, years ago, when she was engaged to Chucky, you could see that she was very excited to brandish that ring. And yeah, so there you go. That was a much younger Camilla Parker Bowles. Yeah. Um, all right. So there you go. That was her ring. And right here, uh, Henry VIII said, "In all but name, divorce for the Windsor. Another in all but name, divorce for Windsor. It's been a month since Sophie was last seen wearing her engagement and wedding ring. She even ditched the E pendant from her necklace and often wears the aquamarine ring reminiscent of Princess Diana post separation choice." Hmm. So she has an aquamarine as well. Of course, Diana had hers first, and we know where that ended up. So, um, but yeah, as you can see on the right side, there is the letter E on the necklace, but suddenly it disappeared. Now, they are saying that one of the reasons why they are still together, this is all alleged, is because there is such a shortage of senior royals. And after all, she had been waiting since 1999 to be a duchess. No sense in running now. Rumor has it that Edward and Sophie are separated but won't fully divorce since they need her as a working royal. Subtle hint today. She re-wore necklace with diamond letters, this time the E for Edwina, now flaunting only L for Louise and Louise, and J for James. Huh. Go figure. So in 2020, before the global pandemic, there was the E, the L, and the J. And now there's just the LJ. Hmm. Something you want to tell us, Sophie? So there you go. All but name only. Hmm. Clever. Very clever. Well, that's one way to say it without saying it, right? Now, take a look here. Wow, this story is crazy. This has nothing to do with the royal family, but I love this story. On Sunday, a woman in New York City accidentally threw out her diamond wedding ring. She realized it in the middle of the night and did the only thing she could think of. She left a note on the windshield of a parked garbage truck. When the garbage man got to work, he read the note, dug through tons of garbage, and found her ring. The driver's name is Gary Gaddis, and he went through the garbage himself. It took him about an hour, but he was able uh, to find the garbage bag with paint rags in it And when he ripped it open, he found Danielle's ring. Here's a great picture of the two of them. There are good people in this world. I'll say so. Could you imagine? And you know what? The good thing is that she was calm enough to leave the right type of instructions on how to find the ring. B. Martin says, you mean to tell me that chick waited all this time to be a duchess and now they're not together? King Charles III should have held out longer, mean girl. Yes, allegedly not together. Gotta say that, allegedly. But yeah, rumor has it that they're not together anymore. Allegedly. So now we're done with the rings, you guys. Let's get on to Afro Annie. Ladies and gentlemen, Afro Annie. So they are saying that Afro Annie is the one who needs to go and sort out Harry and Meghan. Can you believe that? They want her, Afro Annie, to go and sort out the Sussexes. Afro Annie. Now, I think one of the reasons why they are soliciting Anne is because, remember, Anne is the one who, was it Camilla that she had to put straight? Let me see.
No, I totally agree. David Emmanuel, you don't feel you can accept Queen Camilla?
Well, look, it's highly charged, the whole situation. I'm behind the scenes, goodness knows what's going on. But, yeah, that's what we were sold on, weren't we? It was, I understood from Her Majesty the Queen, she said she should be Queen Consort. Now, suddenly, she's now going to be Queen. And it's very difficult because a lot of people have told me they're unhappy about it. So I'm not surprised by the polls at all. But I did hear, I don't know if you know this story, I heard that there was a coronation dinner, which obviously the King and Camilla was there. And apparently the Princess Royal, I don't know if you heard this one, the Princess Royal said, you're not Queen, you're the Queen's consort. Did you hear that one? That's spinning around.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Now, I'm not one to spread
Wow, that's
gossip,
a fascinating
but this is
revelation.
what I've heard from quite a few sources. Yep. And it was a big...
Goodness gracious me. So,
yeah, there was a big
So to
showdown.
clarify, you have heard that Princess Anne said to Camilla's face that you were Queen Consort, not Queen.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't heard that.
So you can imagine in the Abbey, I mean, it's going to be so emotionally charged. You've got Diana's sister, the Spencers will be there, Camilla's children will be there, and what are they all thinking? What is the country thinking? You know, it's a lot of emotion, but we have to remember it's a religious ceremony, of course, and, you know, we have to remember he was being bred to be king. It was always understood he was going to be king. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Well, Patrick would know more than I, but...
Well, I mean, I think that's fascinating because, Dan, one of the reasons I think there is so much doubt over Camilla's status in people's minds is the kind of game of semantics that the palace has played with this over the last 25 years. You may remember, Camilla was, first of all, just a friend. And then she was a non-negotiable friend. And then, okay, she was a lover. It's hard to deny after some of the tapes we heard. But the official line then was, yes, but there is no chance that Charles and Diana will separate. And when they did separate, there's no chance they will divorce. And when they divorced, there was no chance that Charles would remarry. And if he did remarry, he wouldn't marry Camilla. And if he did marry Camilla, she would not be anything more than just behind the scenes supporting her man. And then she might be princess consort when he ascended the throne. And then she was queen consort, and now, hey presto, she's queen. They have been playing games with us. It's a series of half-truths.
Absolutely. We've been drip-fed, haven't we, really?
And of course, we should point out that the Queen...
So as you can see, I suppose that's why they feel like Princess Anne is the one that should go and tell the Sussexes a thing or two. Well, I say not likely. I say not likely. Plus, let me tell you something. Before Anne even, and mind you, I'm just going to say I don't believe that anything of the sort would ever happen. But how can Anne be the one to do such a thing? King Charles urged to send firm secret weapon to deal with Prince Harry and Meghan. A royal commentator suggests there is only one senior working royal who can put an end to this Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's drama with the royal family once and for all. How about if you all just stop talking about them? If you all stop talking about them, then maybe some of this fear-mongering and nasty negative daily updates will stop. Like right there, it says, I think we should send Princess Anne to deal with Harry and Meghan, because if you got a call from Princess Anne, you'd sit up jolly straight. If we were the king, I'd say, Anne, please just go deal with them. Just go and deal with them. They're barking up the wrong tree. Princess Anne was described as the answer to all the royal family's problems, with the royal commentator who urged King Charles to call upon his sister to ask her to sort out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The Princess Royale has previously labeled the firm's secret weapon due to her commitment and devotion to the crown and her no-nonsense approach. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been estranged from the royal family ever since they quit their royal duties and moved to the US back in 2020. Like I said, Anne needs to straighten out her own house before she do such a thing. And mind you, I'm not saying that there's any validity to this, or that there's any likelihood that would happen. But let me tell you, Anne's house is in disarray, and she would be the last person I would send to someone else's house. I mean, do you all remember when they said, royal shock, Princess Anne told to clean up her living room? I mean, Anne is not the most, shall we say, wholesome She's not June Cleaver, right? Princess Anne recently gave fans a rare glimpse into her private life by sharing a candid snap of her and husband Sir Timothy Lawrence watching a rugby match. Remember that? Look at this. Anne lives like Fred flippin' G. Sanford. So if you want her to go and straighten out the Sussexes, have her pick up her living room first. I mean, that living room has everything in common with Sanford and Son that I could think of. Old, dilapidated furniture, threadbare, sun-bleached appliances and electronics from 20 and 30 years ago. Nothing ever changes in that room. They just keep adding to it. and even got a some type of figurine sitting right in front of the TV screen. Now you know that would drive me crazy. Yellow Rose T says Anna's gonna check who? Meghan has a black mama. Ain't gonna happen. She will find her lips on the back of her head. Stop it. By the way, thank you so much for 7 months membership. Yeah, there's one thing that you should never do, and that's go into a black woman's house and start trying to lay down the law. That is just one of those things. You don't ever want to do that. But yeah, so I say have Anne get her house in order and then make that suggestion. Bun zun 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 zun. Bun zun. Bun zun dun 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 dun. Something tells me Princess Anne's doorbell sounds like Sanford and Son. Bun dun 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 dun. Bun dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh man. And just like Fred Sanford, you know how Fred Sanford used to say, Lamont, you dummy. She probably does that. She probably say, Mike Tyndall, you dummy. Mike, you big dummy. Oh, yeah. It's like a parallel universe. Ring, ring. Who is it? It's the 1980s. We want that a sofa and chair back. You can tell that the sofa and the chair are straight out of the 1980s. Maybe even older than that. I'm gonna say circa 1980s. I bet you that fabric was beautiful when they first got it, but now look at it. The arms are all worn away. And how about Anne sitting on that cushion? You know, all those years of being an equestrian, her backside is just totally worn down to the bone. So she has to sit on that cushion. The cushion that, comes with the upholstered furniture is not enough. So she's sitting on top of what looks like one of those egg crates or something like that. Either that or she just didn't feel like moving it. I know. Just looking at it, it's just like, Hitch! Hitch! It makes you want to sneeze just looking at it. And then let me tell you something. This is just slightly off the topic, I suppose, but how is it that the daughter of a sovereign, the sister of the king, this is the same Anne that doesn't have enough time or enough sense or whatever to go and have the straps of her purse shortened. She will not even use the buckles that come with the purse. She just ties it in a knot and throws it over her shoulder and walk out the door. Who does that? Who does that? This lady is rich. I mean, of course, she didn't get the bulk of the inheritance, but she got some money. I am so morbidly curious as to why she has just tied her. That is just so, dare I say, ghetto. I mean, she's so butch. She's just so butch. She just ties it in a knot and just, oh, I got it, and just ties it in a knot and go out the door. No matter how dressy the occasion, Anne has her purse straps tied in a knot. Who does that? And then right there, sacrilege. I say this is sacrilegious. Who takes a Chanel bag and ties a knot? How dare you? Have you no dignity? Have you no humanity? That is a Chanel bag, for God's sakes. You don't take a Chanel and tie it in a knot. That That is beyond the pale. She should be arrested for that. Coco Chanel would be outraged if she was to ever have known that somebody took one of her bags and tied the strap, the chain, the leather chain, um, the golden leather chain in a knot. You just don't expect to see that. Enters Anne, daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, and she just ties it in a knot like it was something from the Sears Roebucks. I'm embarrassed for her. I kept seeing that one day, and I'm just like, who does that? I mean, just purse after purse after purse. She ties the straps, even though there's a buckle to shorten the length of the strap. She ties it in a knot, throw it over her shoulder, and hops in the Range Rover. You just can't take people everywhere. So until until she gets herself together, I say no. If somebody needs to negotiate with the Sussexes, send somebody who has their act together, not Anne of knotted. You know how they say Anne of Green Gables, Anne of knotted purse straps. Yeah, don't send Anne of knotted purse straps. Oh man. Oh, by the way, you guys, be careful because there's a new sheriff in town. Have you noticed yet? There's a new sheriff in town. Yes, I decided to take on a new sheriff. So y'all be cool because there is a new sheriff in town. There's a new wrench on the page. So be careful, you guys. There's a new wrench. And she's not afraid to use it. So take a look here. Why does everything Quentin Letts writes sounds like your drunk uncle shouting at the telly? So instead of concentrating on the Sussexes, why don't they worry about Katie and Willie? They're the ones that are in trouble. He says, why does everything Harry and Meghan say sound like a like a low rent greeting card? A low rent greeting card? I'm not even sure what that means. Who rents a greeting card? Sounds like a low rent greeting card. I don't get that. But anyway, yeah, so this is what this character has to say, Quentin Letts, right? Richard Eden also has something to say, but he was responding to Jack Royston. Meghan Markle's comeback is stalling. The Duchess of Sussex has had a popularity slump in America. And mind you, I didn't even look at the article. I say, please don't look at it. But I saw this on Twitter, a popularity slump. Is that because Meghan is running for president or what? Because that's usually when people would take polls. The Sussexes are not senior working royals right now. They're working for themselves. They're working for their foundation, their charities, their own individual causes. They're not working over there. So it should not make a difference. And then Richard Eden says, this is interesting. Duchess of Sussex popularity in her home country, the USA, has plummeted according to a new royal opinion poll. That's because there's a lot of people that they solicit that don't believe that the Sussexes are still members of the family let alone royals. They are still royals. They're just not over there. They're doing their own thing. And I think that that causes a lot of confusion when they do these polls. I do believe that that is a source of confusion. And, you know, some people are just plain hateful. But the thing is, you wouldn't know, you would not know that the Sussexes are supposedly so unpopular if you were to just take a glance at the trip to Canada. You don't even have to go as far as Canada. You could literally start with let me see, where is that at? Where is it? Let me see here. Oh no, not that one. Huh, do I want to do that one again? Yeah, I'll do this one again. I'll do this one again. Give me just a second. I like this guy. I went on his Twitter and I'm sorry. What do you call that? I went on his TikTok.
And a reminder.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to put my speaker on. Sorry about that. Got it. Here goes.
Afternoon, just another quick one and a reminder. You don't have to pick a side. You don't have to be Harry and Meghan or Kate and Wills. You can be in the middle like me. But I just wanted to pick up on this because I think it's a really important point. So did a bit of research just to validate this, and it's absolutely true. Catherine Kate, she's never had a national insurance number. Wikipedia confirms that she's 42 and she's never had a national insurance number. So what does that actually mean? It means that she's not actually ever worked. So no working behind a bar as a student to, you know, help with her own costs, build a wider network of friends, get some education about how business works. No jobs post-university, you know, again, building out a network, looking at a career ladder, increasing your social circle, gaining knowledge, just nothing. And I find that pretty, I've got to be honest, I find that pretty awful, but also I'm absolutely gobsmacked that's the situation, but it's true. And then just, although don't take sides, go over to look at, you know, Meghan. Self-made, built a career, obviously has been on the screen in one of the most successful series of all time. Suits was, you can't dispute that. The stats show it. She's been an investor in other companies, including the coffee company, which was really smart by her and by them, because obviously the video that she was in brought kind of global attention to the brand. Even if she's only thrown in $10,000 for some shares and said, look, I'll do some PR for free. Smart move. Self-made woman. That's all I'm saying. So one of them has never worked. One of them's a self-made woman. What can I say? Have a good day.
So there you go. There you go. They want to do these ridiculous comparisons, but yet they are completely silent when people speak out on behalf of Meghan. They ignore that. But if someone speaks against Meghan, then they put it on the bullhorn. Lizzie 34, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Yeah, they want to blast anything that's negative, but anything that is positive, they want to stay silent. I don't want to talk about that. So if this is like unpopular, oh wait, is that the one that I'm looking for? Oh, this is what I'm looking for. The past couple days, every magazine that I could think of, you know, the usual ones, I don't know why that's not showing up. Okay. That is not working for some reason. That one works. Oh boy. I should have rebooted the computer. Oh, there we go. Finally. So we have been inundated. Everyone who talks about fashion has been talking about Meghan. They've been talking about her hair. When they were in Canada, they were talking about that. But it's not limited to what she wears. The other story that people have been talking about is the dog shelter. Like when the Sussexes adopted, was it Pula? That was all over the media. That's why this idea that they're so unpopular, if they were not popular, they wouldn't talk about those things. If they were so unpopular, you would not see this round the clock coverage. Popularity and who's the most likable is not one and the same. It is not one and the same. Although I think that they totally downplay and underreport how popular Meghan is. They have to do that. They have to create this choice where you're supposed to be for one or the other. But I'm afraid that when they do these surveys, they don't want to discuss anything, or should I say, they don't want to solicit the sector of the population that is more likely to find the Sussexes engaging and popular and appealing. They don't want to talk to them. The young people, they're not the ones that are answering these surveys. They couldn't. They simply couldn't. But the few that they have, a resounding amount of the time, there's more and more of them, like the ones that are on TikTok. It's all Sussex all the time. As for the others, yeah, they do pay people on TikTok. They do pay people. They will pay people to formulate hate. They do it on TikTok and they do it on other platforms. It is not unusual. A lot of the times, you guys, I tell you, you're arguing with people that are paid to hate. They don't care about the Sussexes one way or the other, but they will go on social media every day because that's their job. Just like you get a brand endorsement and you get paid for that, they are being paid to hate. And there has been alleged discussion about this coming from Kensington Palace. I don't know that to be true, but I do know that there are some people that are being paid to do exactly what they've been doing. Like they say, there's just a handful of accounts that is responsible for a huge portion of the hateful comments and conspiracies that's out there. But this is not someone who's unpopular. Oh, sorry, going the wrong way. Not at all. I mean, Meghan walks out of a restaurant and is trending all over the place. Vogue magazine. I have to say, it's a great outfit. I didn't think it was all that. I just thought it was Meghan being Meghan. But obviously, the general public is seeing something that is fresh, elegant, different. Any woman can wear it, just like with the wedding gown, So I have to say, I don't know that I've never seen anybody dressed like this before, but the point is, it's Meghan. Meghan has a brand, and people trust Meghan's taste, her style, her elegance. People trust that. So I actually shared with someone Meghan's cardigan from the Invictus Games. And I said, this cardigan broke a website. This cardigan broke a website for a major company. Their website went down because Meghan wore their cardigan. Then it went on back order. They sold out and it went on back order. That is power. That is power. And not everyone has that. So when they say these things, it's so silly. It makes no sense. It bears no resemblance whatsoever, no likeness to what's actually going on. That you can walk out of a restaurant in some flat shoes, some big leg pants, a turtleneck, is it, and a camel coat, and set the fashion world ablaze. There are people right now that are designers that are like, yeah, what can I, and you'll find that this is going to influence a lot of people's wardrobe. This time next year, they'll still be, finding these pieces. So it's a fool's errand. They are wasting everyone's time, because the real story for there is not what Meghan is doing and who likes her the most. The real story is, where's Kate? Where's Kate? Where is Kate? So right here, Princess Anne knew Meghan Markle had a short shelf life after her reaction to what royal life entailed, expert claims. Here's another person that thinks they have an answer, an inside track, a theory. This comes as Princess Anne was left furious with Prince Harry after his bombshell spare memoir. Yeah, Princess Anne predicted Meghan Markle would have a short shelf life as a member of the royal family, an expert claimed, while the American suit star tied the knot with Prince Harry in 2018. The couple did step back from royal duty in 2020 and moved to California. By the way, Meghan looks amazing. Meghan looks amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful outfit. She wore that coat when she went to the Westminster Abbey for the first time. I think it was before they were married. They went to Commonwealth Day. Yeah, I think they went to Commonwealth Day. And she wore that white coat with the belt. And she turned the collar up, and it was just amazing. But there's Anne being quite cordial with Harry and Meghan. And so this idea that Anne is going to go and give them the what for, when they say Anne is no nonsense, when they say Anne is kind of a short temper, Philip type of person, Anne is also a realist. Anne does not suffer fools lightly. And this idea that she has it in for Meghan, you won't hear it from her. You won't hear it from her. If Anne has a disagreement with the way someone is doing anything, she'll say it. I mean, this is the same Anne who told her mother she kind of waved off her mom when the Queen was trying to get her to come over and talk to Trump. She wouldn't do it. She didn't want to be bothered. That's who Anne is. Anne does things the way she wants to do it. Doesn't mean that she has it in for anybody. She's thinking about getting back to that nasty toe-up living room. This is unpopular, right? Remember they were saying that, there's a short shelf life. Does this look like a short shelf life? A short shelf life would imply that Meghan ran for the hills, right? Meghan left, but she took Harry with her. As far as I know, Meghan is still, royal life. I think Meghan is still royal. As far as I know, Meghan is still the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan is still doing universal service, right? She's still doing public service. She's doing everything that she was doing when she was over there, except she's not dependent upon them financially. She's not dependent upon them to deal with the press. None of that stuff is important. She doesn't even have to worry about what what their intentions are when it comes to a roof over her head. So, if you want to say short shelf life, fine, you can say it, but it doesn't mean it's true. It depends on what shelf you're talking about. Meghan is still royal. Meghan is still married to Harry. So, short shelf life in terms of being over there with that nonsense, no shame in that. She left. But Harry went with her. They're still doing the same stuff they were doing over there. But now they can feel more appreciated. They could depend on people that are there to help them instead of plotting against them. As I've been saying, there are no leaks in Montecito. So if staying on the shelf means that you stay in the UK, by the way, no leaks in Montecito. If staying on the shelf, having a long shelf life, means that you allow someone to turn you into a Stepford wife, then yeah, you can have a long shelf life. I say that there's still, they're still there. They're just not doing this stuff on behalf of the royal family anymore. They're doing it on behalf of themselves. They're doing it for their own foundation. They're not giving the credit to Charles, certainly not Camilla, and never Willie. They're doing their own thing. The only thing that they really lost was their patronages. But again, the idea that that means that there was a short shelf life, I disagree with that. They're still doing what they set out to do. They're not involved in some commercial deals where they're selling popcorn or t-shirts and all the other stuff that they were saying. They're not selling cars. They're not doing any of that stuff. They're not doing anything that's outside of what the rest of the royal family does. There's plenty of things that you can buy from the gift shops all over the royal properties that have pictures of Charles, that have pictures of the royal family. I bought a chocolate bar when I was at the Windsor Castle. So I don't. Last I heard, Harry and Meghan are not selling chocolate bars. They're not selling tea sets, although they could, and I think it would be okay, but they're not there yet. They're not ready for that. They are focused on their foundation and they're focused on their production company. That's it. So I would say maybe they're not on the shelf over there, but they are still fresh and they're still doing their thing. Lex says, after a disastrous week for Will, the KP bots and the Roy Rotas are out and about with the same crap. The Sussexes aren't popular. Let's modify Meghan's pictures, etc. Thank you so much, Legs. I did see one of those photos that were modified. Exactly. In order to throw the story away from Will, in order to take the attention away from Willie Leaks, and in order to make people stop asking, where's Kate, they want to throw all of this stuff on the Sussexes about they're not popular, nobody likes them, how come they're not on the red carpet. They just recycle the same stuff over and over again. Just like I was saying with the ring. That story about the ring is actually a recycle. It still comes out favorable to Meghan, but that's not the point. They just need the Sussexes to get the clicks and make money. And also, they want to distract people from the mess that is Prince William. William is a disaster, and they don't want people to recognize it for what it is. But he's a disaster. A short shelf life. She's still standing. She's still working. I don't think Anne has much of an opinion about them one way or the other. Unless you ask her, then she's just going to tell you whatever's on the top of her mind. But I don't think she goes to bed and thrashes about thinking about, oh, what is Harry and Meghan doing? She got her own life. She got her own business. Let me see. Since Will couldn't compete, it's back to smears. Here. Thank you, Lex. Yep. William tried to compete and he fell on his face. So, there they are. If that's a short shelf life, you wouldn't know it. They were holding hands when they walked into Westminster Abbey, and they're holding hands now. I would say that they have gone the distance. So I don't know what shelf they're talking about, but they're still doing their public service. They're still in love with each other. And there are still people in love with them. People love them. Just like those ladies that were discussing Harry's approach to the Invictus game, the way that he was able to speak to all 4 of the First Nation tribal leaders to get permission to bring the Invictus Games onto their ancestral sacred land. He's doing things differently. The last time that Will and Kate went to ancestral sacred lands, the people held up signs and told them to go away. Huge difference. So those polls don't mean anything. They say with politics, all politics is local. And so one encounter at a time, one group at a time, one situation at a time, Harry and Meghan are winning. They are winning. A short shelf life for royal. She's a royal with a short shelf life. Prince Henry of Wales, Princess Henry of Wales, royal. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they have a royal title, their royal Duke title. If that, they're still royal and they're still together. That's not a short shelf life. Everybody's expiration should be the same as that. Everybody's shelf life should go that far. They're what, like what they met 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They're going on 8 years. Their relationship is going on, 8 years now. This is 8 years. They've already made it past the 7-year itch. They're going on 8 years of a short shelf life. They thought if they taunt and aggravate and harass Meghan with the tabloid media, with paparazzi, they thought all of that was going to break her and that she was going to go the way of the rest of the people that they have driven out of Harry's life. And it did not happen. It did not happen. What is it? Dolce Vita, the good life, the smooth life, the happy life, whatever you want to call it. That's exactly what it is. She's living her best life. And none of that stuff that they're saying about a short, I saw that. I'm just like, a short shelf life by whose matrix? Whose matrix are you using? Because as far as I know, that is still a royal princess. That is the Duchess of Sussex. Blue Jaws, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Got to set the record straight for these people, because if you don't, they try to sell that. I mean, this was Harry's dream, was to have a family, to have a partner, to share the work with him. Meghan is not going to a studio to make a movie tomorrow. She's not doing anything outside of their foundation and production company. That's it, and that's all. That is what she wanted, was to do service. Even before she met Harry, one of the actors from Suits said, that they felt like she was at that point when she was about to leave acting, that she was ready for the next challenge. People do that. They are judging Meghan by their standard that, oh, if you're acting, you want to stick around and try to get that Oscar and the Emmy and the EGOT and all that kind of stuff. Meghan said from her own mouth, I never wanted to be one of those ladies that lunch, where you just go to lunch with your girlfriends and you sit around and you go shopping and you go on these vacations with your girlfriends. At some point, we all grow up and we move on. And if you still want to do that, that's okay too. But she's not in that place right now. She's doing what she has been doing since 12, 13 years old? And not just writing the detergent company, the dishwashing liquid company, but even the Meghan that protested the war in Iraq. She's not new to this. She's true to this. So I guess it depends on what shelf you're talking about. But she was already doing the work. And then she married a prince of the realm. And she's still doing exactly what she was doing over there. She just doesn't have to answer to those people. She doesn't have anybody telling her, be 50% of yourself. That's what she left. If that's the shelf she got off of, the be 50% of yourself shelf, I don't know who wouldn't have left from that. I don't know anybody that wouldn't have left. I know people that stayed, like Sophie Wessex or Kate. I do know people that stayed. Meghan just ain't one of them. When Sarah Ferguson, when she left the royal family, she didn't stray too far, but she's not really doing that work as much as she used to. But she's still doing the work. She's still doing the work. And she'd still been married to that vicious bowl of Jell-O if he wouldn't have taken off for whatever it was, 9 months, and abandoned her and left to that family. Of course they had problems. He was the one who caused it. That institution will poison most relationships, just not Harry and Meghan. They survived the worst of being in that family, and they moved on, and they're still doing the work. So not a short shelf life. They're in it for the long run. They're in it for life. It's a commitment. Lisa D, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here tonight and being a member of Royal Sussex. I just could not get that out of my head, a short shelf life. I'm just like, short shelf life? Are you serious? And still, look at how she looks at him. Still. And when they were going down the hill, and he realized that she wasn't right there next to him, he put his hand out to make sure that she was okay walking down the hill. That's a short shelf life. Really? Really? Now, don't lecture us all about Gaza, William. Tell us how Kate is. How's Kate is? Tell us how Kate is. Don't lecture us. Tell us how Kate is. And what do we get? Nothing. So, as I said, I had some theories. We won't see the king in month. We won't see king in month. Longer hospital stay after operation. Kate could come home today. So, not see him in a month. Well, we've seen him go back and forth to the hospital, but he hasn't done any real official public engagements. I think that Charles would have taken off, except for one thing: William cannot be trusted. So, modern dad, Prince William, is very confident looking after George, Charlotte, and Louis. Prince William won't be fazed by having to solo parent his 3 children, all whilst Princess Kate remains in hospital. So right there, that came out, the 26th? It seemed like they were preparing us to see William as a single parent, right? But leading up to all of this, remember they kept saying that there was going to be an announcement in January. In 2024. Am I the only one that remembers that? There's going to be an announcement in 2024. Something big is going to happen in 2024, right? And of course, as they were saying that, simultaneously, along with something is going to happen in 2024, they were trying to make people believe that the Sussexes' relationship was on the rocks. Remember that? They kept saying that the Sussexes were on the rocks. Big announcement in 2024, the Sussexes are on the rocks, implying that they were going to divorce. I remember one of the trolls got into the our chat and said, "Yeah, I just can't stop thinking about this story about the Sussexes." And of course, we blocked her. We know who they were talking about. We all know who they were talking about. And the urgency is now because the Queen is gone. Charles is on the throne. Now, I don't know how true this is, that you cannot divorce a queen. I don't know that that's true or not, but I keep hearing people say that you cannot divorce a queen. Once she gets to be queen, there's no possibility of divorce. I don't know if they're saying that because it would be unwise or if there's some type of legal backing for that. I don't know. But what I do know is that we were waiting for the announcement. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. Just wanted to make sure I got that right. So, enters Rebecca. Did they have any extra gravy? English. Rebecca English, who is the one that they sent out there when they need to tweak a story. Royals don't tend to visit each other in hospital, so there can be no stronger signal of Charles and Kate's bond than his trip to her bedside before his prostate operation. The family are more united than ever, says Rebecca English. Are they? It is, of course, fortuitous they are undergoing medical treatment at the same time, or at the same hospital, rather. At the same time, at the same hospital. It is rather unusual that they would make the same announcement, more or less, on the same day. 90 minutes after they say Kate had a stomach surgery, abdominal surgery, but there's not cancer. Charles has prostate surgery coming up, but don't worry, there's no cancer. They wouldn't lie to us, would they? There's no cancer. But because Charles has been looking so bad for so long, there is a school of thought that Charles has been sick for a while and they just didn't want people to know it. And they decided to come out with it the same day that they were talking about Kate. So where am I going with all this? Don't worry, I'm getting there. Willie goes to the hospital. We don't see him go in We don't see him walk out. He never returns to the hospital. So Rebecca English, among others, told us that, well, we didn't want the reporters hanging outside the hospital because, it would be disruptive and so on and so forth. Really? I mean, they hang outside of everything else. And if they're not right out the hospital wing, they could have been around the corner. They could have been in the alley. They could have been anywhere. They could have been parked in a van. They could have been just about any place to get those pictures. And if you really wanted people to know that William is this devoted husband, now remember, it was Rebecca English who said that Willie would bend heaven and earth to be with Kate. And then he never showed up again. William will bend heaven and earth to be with Kate. And we never saw him at that hospital again. We didn't see her parents at the hospital. We didn't see her siblings. Nobody else was there. As far as we know, nobody else saw Kate at that hospital but Charles. And the fact that Charles did not have cancer, and then a week later, he does have cancer, makes me believe that we can't really depend on them to tell us the truth one way or the other. Because let's say allegedly or possibly that was a lie, that he didn't have cancer. It may have been a lie that Kate had surgery at the time that they said. It seems more like Kate may have had surgery in December, not January, December. But because they have, lied and misled, allegedly, there's no reason for us to believe that they're telling the truth. Just like they have been lying that Harry wants to come back into the fold. Who benefits from that? Not Harry. Well, William benefits because it makes him look tough, because William put his foot down and said no. It makes Charles look good because Charles was willing to pry the door open just on the odd chance that he was thinking about letting Harry come back. Okay, let me get this going here. So then there's William responding to Harry's very public appearances. Willie Leaks goes to the BAFTA. He didn't watch a movie. He goes to dinner. There's this mysterious brunette that they say is his cousin. He goes to the investiture and he's throwing CBEs all over the place. CBEs all up against the window, throwing them in people's face. He just can't hold on to that darn CBE. And by the way, he looks like crap while doing it. While she's throwing CBEs all over the place, he looks like he's about to collapse to the floor. Very strange. And he's happy and animated. This is the Willie Leaks that has only been seen publicly 3, possibly 4 times this year. No more than 5. 2 things on one day. It was a twofer. So, Punxsutawney Prince, blah, blah, blah. The Punxsutawney Prince is going to emerge from his burrow so that people can see him. Why? Because Harry gave away a trophy or handed out a trophy, because Harry was at the Invictus countdown, because Harry, what else did Harry do? Harry went to Jamaica. All of these things, William had to show his face. And in doing so, he made a complete fool of himself. And here's one of those things that they could not possibly know was happening or coming. Vile abuse got nothing to do with free speech. It is I'm sorry, and it perpetuates, I'm sorry, its perpetrators should be reported, tracked down, and dealt with by the law. And that is from Robert, Where is My Neck, Jobson, right? On the trolling of Princess Kate. It beggars belief that these laptop warriors allowed me to get away with spewing such hatred. It beggars belief. Robert Jobson, trolling royals is nothing new, but it has Kate and Sarah Ferguson's face a volley of abuse while battling health problems. This hatred has taken things to a new level. Court gossip has been part of royal life for centuries, but the online trolls who are tracking the Princess of Wales, attacking the Princess of Wales as she recuperates in hospital from major abdominal surgery, have taken things to a new level. As Robert Jobson gasped, but what they didn't know is that nobody cares. The thing is, it wasn't just Sussex squatties. As a matter of fact, the majority of the vitriol and hostility toward Kate was coming from people who work full-time jobs, who only make an average of £40,000 a year for a single family, or should I say a family of four. They're only making £40,000 and they're supposed to live off of that, right? Or people who are on the waiting list for abdominal surgery, people that may possibly succumb to their illness while waiting for surgery. They wanted those people to have all this sympathy for Kate, right? Kate had no flowers outside the hospital. There was no vigil outside the hospital. There were more people there covering the story outside the hospital. Actually, I can't say more. There were 0 people out there outside praying for Kate because nobody cared. It wasn't so much that there was hostility, but it was insulting to people that you're trying to drum up all this sympathy for Kate, one of the most privileged people who has never worked a job in her life, who doesn't even have a NHS number. She doesn't even have one. And you want everybody to cry a river for Kate. And then for Charles, much of the same. He is one of the most privileged people in the history of the world that a working class person should be weeping and in tears because of his diagnosis, especially when he went in the hospital and you said he did not have cancer, then all of a sudden he does have cancer. And I tend to believe that most people don't believe it. I don't think most people believe that. If Harry is smart, he'll jump on a plane. This is the moment he must grow up and be there for his family or face becoming irrelevant. Only for them to say, Harry has no place over here. Harry can't help the royal family. Nobody wants him. But back in January the 20th, Harry arrives without Meghan at Living Legends of Aviation Award amid royal health drama. Kate, your best friend 1 minute and your worst enemy the next, expert claims. So there was a bunch of mixed messages, right? A bunch of mixed messages. On the one hand, it seemed like they were preparing for that big announcement of 2024, right? They were preparing. And even after the thing about Kate being in the hospital, it seemed like they were still going to move forward with it. You know, William, the solo dad. So my theory is this. Maybe there was an announcement, and in some way, form, or fashion, Kate did not take it lightly. Kate was not going to go away quietly, and allegedly, Kate was not going to make it easy. So this may be nothing more than a labor dispute, along with whatever health crisis. But how the health went south, we don't know. That's the mystery. But I do believe that Willie, who is so short-sighted that he couldn't go to the Lionesses game, Willie, who is so short-sighted that he took an all-expense-paid vacation to the Caribbean and lost half the Commonwealth, Willie, that is so short-sighted that he couldn't even congratulate the Italians when his people lost the World Cup. Willie, who doesn't even watch the movies, even though he's the patron, the president of BAFTA. That's short-sighted Willie. So if he's that short-sighted, dare I say stupid, that he won't do those things, even if Kate is having some horrendous health problem, it seemed like nothing would stop William from the announcement of 2024, whatever that announcement is. I hope you follow what I'm saying. That with everything else that's going on, his father has cancer. He's too dumb to do his job. Kate is having some health problems, right? With all of that going on, nothing, I fear, would stop William from putting in place the announcement of 2024. Even if, as they say, even if Kate is in an induced coma, God forbid, if she's in an induced coma, I still believe that if William had the intention of making that announcement that everybody assumed was coming, that he wouldn't stop. And Kate may have done something in preparation for it. Something good, something bad, something detrimental. But William, I don't care what it is, I don't think that he would have the smarts to say, okay, I'm not going to make that announcement. Instead, it seemed like they're still preparing for the announcement. You guys get what I'm saying? It just seems like whatever the situation may be, the announcement is still going to happen. Whether it happens sooner or whether it happens later. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the aviation thing. So sorry about that. It seems like he's still going to do it. It seems like he is still determined to carry through. Because the time is getting short. We don't know what Charles' situation is, but if he needs to make a move, or if he chooses to make a move and give us that announcement of 2024, he don't have a lot of time. I can't say yay or nay to that. I can't say yay or nay. I don't know how that happened. But you know what? What you just said makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Because you know what? If we don't know exactly what is going on with Kate, and he is still choosing to make that announcement, he would look like the worst person in the world if indeed Kate is in some dire situation. He would look like the worst person in the world if everybody knew exactly what was happening with her. But if we don't know, and he decides to proceed with that 2024 announcement, then it's much easier if people don't know how serious things are, allegedly, possibly serious. That's what I'm saying. Is that he is not the kind of person that is going to not do something because of how it looks or how people perceive it or the consequences. Because so far, he's never faced a consequence. So, yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think is that whatever they were planning, Kate being ill and however she got ill was not, I won't say a distraction, but it was a complication. Kate's illness complicated what they were planning to do. And so it seems like they're trying to work around it. That's what it seems like to me. Like they're trying to work around whatever they were planning to do for 2024. And then I started thinking about this. If you all remember how everybody was kind of freaking out because they were wearing black? Now they said, oh, that was just a coincidence that everybody was wearing black. Was it a coincidence, or did they think that there was going to be a more sinister, a more morbid announcement? I really do believe, I still believe that they thought that there was going to be some type of grim announcement. Now, and until we see Kate, I'm just going to assume that this may be exactly how things happen. Until we know better, this is my theory. But it seems like they were wearing black because they thought there was going to be some bad news. And then the bad news didn't happen. So if they're saying on Spanish television, in the Spanish media, that things had gotten really bad and that they almost lost her, and then they didn't, maybe that's why they were wearing black, because they thought that something was going to go terribly bad, but it didn't. So, Willie still won't face any consequences if Kate passed away. There would be no autopsy, no investigation, and no one held accountable. Yeah, Ruth Lopez is whatever they say. Now, God forbid, I mean, because I'm not wishing nothing bad on her. But we're only having this conversation now because everything is cloaked in such mystery. They're being very mysterious about something that should not be. They should be more forthcoming with, I mean, what does it take just to make a video and say, hey, thanks for the prayers, I'm okay? I think Carol Middleton's dreams are about to shatter. Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that way. And if anybody doesn't understand what the 2024 announcement is, I do apologize. Divorce. They kept saying last year that a royal divorce was coming. We know it ain't Charles and Camilla. We know it wasn't Harry and Meghan. It could have possibly have been the Edinburgh, right? Could have been them. And it could have been Will and Kate. It's a whole bunch of could have beens. It certainly ain't Zara the tongue ring Tyndall. Not as long as she's got that. Not as long as she's got that tongue ring. Let me see who else. But yeah, I couldn't think of anybody else that would matter. And really, who cares about Sophie and Edwina? Who cares about them? Most people outside of the UK don't even know who they are. So who would care if they left each other? Boo Boo Romero, I tell you, I cannot stop thinking about it. I'm just like, there is just so many possibilities. I think the body would keep her on a feeding tube or in a coma until people forget, and then he would pull the plug before he became king. Ooh, that I just felt something in my stomach, but no worries. I mean, I understand what you're saying. No, it is the harsh reality of it until we know better. Until we know better. And the fact that he was able to go out and appear so natural in public, his usual moody self, doesn't mean that there isn't something horrible behind that. We have not seen the children. We have not seen the children. You would think that they would march the children to church. In most families, you would think that a trip to the church, just to show people, hey, we royals, when things get tough, we turn to the Church of England. We are the Church of England. The only person going to church are the two adulterers. Only the adulterers are going to church. I didn't watch Charles and Camilla march back and forth to church so many times, I get tired just looking at them. They're marching to church. They're walking from church. That's all you see is Charles and Camilla walking back to church, back and forth to church. So, again, I just seem to believe, what am I saying? I believe that whatever happened to Kate, if Willie was going to do something for 2024 and that he was putting everything together back in 2023, like for instance, when they were in the back of the car on their way to whatever that was, and William wouldn't even look straight ahead, let alone look her way. He was fooling with the trim of the car, like he had something on his mind. Wonder what that could be. Plotting and scheming? Very strange. Very, very strange. And just like what is his name? Thermo, just snap his finger and remake the whole universe. The earth is finite. Its resources finite. If Africans are left unchecked, life will cease to exist. I am abominable. Well, maybe when he snaps his fingers, he won't just he won't just get rid of everybody in Africa. Maybe he's going to get rid of a few other people too. Thank goodness he doesn't have the Infinity Stones. Thank goodness he doesn't have the Infinity Stones. We'd all be in trouble if he did. Let me see. Needs to pay those Middleton's bills so Kate can come back. Yeah. Well, now remember, they claimed that Kate was moved from one property to the next. They moved her from Adelaide to somewhere. They never said she went back. And we have not seen the children since Christmas. Thanos, is that wait. I hope not, for her sake. You know, I talk a lot of stuff about her, but I'm not wishing anything bad on her. And it's not just because I'm afraid of bad luck. I mean, I'm a Scorpio. You know, I don't care about stuff like that. But just you know, that is somebody's mom, and I I I really do worry for those kids. I really do worry for those children. Whatever's going on, those children deserve to enjoy their youth and not be caught up in a bunch of nonsense. Dansby said, Baron, someone on X said that the King's guards were out on the street on February the 24th. He said, who died? And something big for the King's guard to be out practicing. Ooh, what is today, the 25th? Oh. That is something to think about. Thank you, Dansby. That is something to think about. A rehearsal. Well, but let me say this. Let me say this. I mean, I have to be very fair about this. There's a lot of people in that family that are ill right now. I believe that at least 3 of the Kents, the Duke of Kent, Prince Michael of Kent, and his evil wife, what's her name? I think she's got some problems too. So I know at least 3 of them out of the Kent side of things. I think at least 3 of them have been suffering a lot in recent years. Also, you have I mean, let's face it, there's some illness in other places in the family, so they would have reason to practice. Even without Charles, even without the mystery of where's Kate, they would still have reasons to practice. So I could see that. I could see that happening. Of course, a state funeral is the reserve for the sovereign and the consort, and maybe the prince and princess of Wales, and they can. Princess Diana did not have a state funeral, but the planning of the funeral was a state funeral. So it was a state funeral in all but name only. The Queen Mother, she had a state funeral, but of course she had been queen before. So, but thank you, Dansby. I did not hear that, but yeah, definitely something is not right. Thank you again, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Let me see. Those unexplained cuts on the fingers, supposedly from playing with the kids on the trampoline. Then that video of them clapping while sitting on that balcony. Oh, yeah. I saw that one. Ugh, that one was weird, too. That one was weird. So, William appoints former government diplomat as private secretary. Ian Patrick was previously private secretary for former Liberal Democrat leader Lord Ashdown. And Lord Ashdown, he's the one, now that I think about it, Lord Ashdown, isn't he that constitutional lawyer or constitutional professor or whatever that Charles hired once he became king? And you know what else? I was thinking about a lot of this today. I believe that Charles is spending his time right now putting a lot of things in writing because William will have the ability to undo a lot of the great work that Charles has put together. You know what I mean? William will have a role in the complete dismantling of Charles' legacy unless he's taken steps now to put some safeguards in place, like appointing people to positions to run the Prince's Trust, now the King's Trust, and those sort of things, because William cannot be trusted. William destroys everything. William is not smart. He's not capable. He has no imagination. He has no leadership qualities whatsoever. And whatever Charles leaves behind, if William gets a hold of it, it is going to be undone. It is going to be totally undone. So if Charles is smart right now, he's putting some safeguards in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. I don't know how much he can do, once he's not here anymore. But in the unlikely event that, that he would survive Willie, I would say he better be at work with his people putting some safeguards in place. I'm glad Harry went over there. I'm glad Harry went over there, because whatever it is that is going on, Harry needs to be aware of it, because Willie is dangerous, even more so than Camilla. Willie is dangerous. That is a dangerous person. I didn't see the trolls today. I did not see the trolls today, but I will take your word for it. I didn't see any of that. But then again, I haven't checked the comments today, so I will do that tonight before I go to bed, because I am interested to see what they're saying. Or maybe I did see it and I just wasn't paying that much attention to it. I did, delete some stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let me go here. So in the past couple of years, we have seen Kate, they have been doing their best to, what do you call it? Photoshop, to filter and such. They have been doing their best. But whatever is going on, and I'm not making this up. I'm telling you the truth. I was explaining this to someone who is, not a squatty. And I sent photos of Kate. I said, this is what's been happening. And then I sent some more photos. And they said, well, which one is her mother? I said, those are all Kate. All of those are Kate. All right? That was impartial. There was no shade. But they assumed that the other photo had to have been Kate. You see the ones with the red jacket there? They thought those were two different people. So something has been wrong for a long time. Something has been wrong for a long time. And while we're talking about Meghan's popularity, we're not talking about this. At least they're not. And that's you know what? And even though weaponizing Kate's tears, weaponizing her tears to hurt Meghan seemed like a clever thing to do, by them not talking about her, she has no security. She has no security where that family is concerned. If there is something going on with that family, if there's something going on, she has no one advocating for her. And they will never take her side above the crown. They will never take her side. Whatever's going on, they will never take her side. And maybe that's why her mother looks the way she looks lately. You know how you have that look on your face when you're stuck? when you are at the end of your rope and you know that there's nothing you can do, maybe that's what's going on. Or should I say, maybe that's what we're seeing is the side effects of stuck. So again, let me just say what I was trying to get to tonight is that whatever is or is not going on, I believe that if William had some plans to change some things for the future, that he is going to continue with that plan. He won't care what people think. He won't see any consequences for it. He'll just do whatever it is he wants to do. He's been doing that since he was a child, and he's gotten away with it. And there's no reason to believe that as an adult he can't do the same. I mean, after all, that's what his father did. His father was able to what was that they were saying about the Sussexes and wouldn't stop saying it? He was able to have his cake and eat it too. And of course, using the guidance of his father, if there's something drastic that you want to do, don't worry about what happens to the future of the monarchy. Just do you, boo. Everybody else does, without fear of consequence or without fear of favor. They do what they choose to do. So why wouldn't he? What is there to say that he would be making a big mistake? Because his father got away with it. There's 2 adulterers on the throne. In the court of St. James, there are 2 adulterers. As a matter of fact, a religious service is going to be led by an adulterer. Charles won't even be there. The other adulterer is going to stay home. But Camilla is going to the Constantine prayer service. Camilla is going to the Commonwealth service, not Charles. And they said back in 2013 that Camilla was going to try to seize the throne. And boy, did that ever come true. That came true. Of course, she doesn't have the power officially, but the throne, she's got that. Because when she goes to Westminster Abbey, she'll be sitting in one of those plush chairs that they set aside for, dare I say, the Queen. She'll be sitting in one of the Queen chairs. She's been wearing the Queen's jewelry. She's worn the Queen's crown. She's the Queen. She's the Queen. She is the Queen. She got everything she wanted. Thank you, Adrian. Yep, she got everything she wanted. Lock, stock, and barrel. And who knows, knowing Camilla, whatever is being, okay, I won't say leaked. I'm not going to say leaked. But if Willie is having trouble right now, I believe that somewhere behind it, you'll find Camilla. You'll find Camilla's handiwork there somehow. Yep, you'll find Camilla. As they say, the devil is in the details. You'll find Camilla in there somewhere. Let me see. Charles has begun working on a succession plan. He better, because what I know about cancer treatment, it can turn on a dime. It can turn on a dime. Now, things have changed a lot over the years, and people are living longer, and there are more treatments than ever before. So the last time I had to deal with something like that was years ago, but back in those days, I'm telling you, things could turn on a dime. And Yeah, they have good reason to practice. They have good reason to practice because the thing is, whoever goes next, it's going to be like a domino. It is going to be like a domino because remember, there's I count at least 3 people aside from Charles that are gravely ill in that family, that are hanging on by a thread. And so there's going to be a succession of one service after the other. When that time comes, I believe there's going to be one service after the other, probably for a period of 2 years. There's going to be one after the other. Let me see. Since the young royals like to use the Sussexes as a distraction, they need to be mercilessly plastered all over social media, retweeted, and let to trend about Miss Pretzel Sticks. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. Oh, man. Seabiscuit might be queen, but she's not liked outside of the royal rota. Yeah, I know. I'm sure of that, Francia Mosley. I'm very sure that whatever alliances she has made, it won't help her once Willie leaks get there. But Charles is going to tie the knot really tight for Camilla and her children. That is probably what takes up most of his days, is planning for his exit. You know, and that's really got to be, oh man, I could not imagine what it's like to be Charles right now, for all that they have done to get those 2 adulterers on that throne, and now it seems like the end is so near for either or both of them. Because Camilla ain't in that great a shape either, to be honest with you. She's not in such good shape. She can go out and about, but she's not one for endurance. She doesn't have that kind of endurance. But then again, she's so bitter that who knows? You know, sometimes bitter people could outlast everybody. Well, somebody had to say it. Somebody needed to say it. You know, and somebody needed to say it.
Bitter. And, you know, somebody needs to say it. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter.
Bitter, bitter, bitter. You know, and somebody needs to say it. Okay. Oh my goodness, 2 hours and 14 minutes. Did somebody roofie me? How long let me keep this thing moving. So take a look there. And I remember saying this back in the fall of 2022 when they were working so hard and doing everything they could to try to outdo Harry and Meghan. And then I said by the spring, I said they're going to go away. I said this is going to be short-lived. They're going to go and disappear for about 6 to 8 weeks, 6, 8 to 12, whatever. They're not going to be around. They're going to go away. I kept saying that, and they proved me wrong. I will admit I was wrong. They did more work than I had anticipated, but still, I cannot help but believe that that took a terrible toll on Private Middleton, Sergeant Middleton. I cannot help but to believe that all of that extra, look at me, I'm Meghan Markle, took a terrible toll on her mentally and possibly physically, because they were asking her to be someone that she wasn't. And that cannot be easy for anyone, to step outside of their safety zone, their safe space, and pretend to be someone as dynamic as Meghan. That could not have been easy. And maybe that took a toll. And maybe that's why, you know, toward December, things were looking so grim. Maybe that's what it was. I mean, they, you put enough makeup on and you get a glam squad, you go buy yourself some big wigs and everything, you can, you know, airbrush your way into any type of consciousness. But that's all on the outside. But on the inside, what are you feeling? So that I would say that if there was anything that took a toll, and I realize it's not fair for me to speculate about something like that, but if there was anything that took a toll on her, I have to believe that them trying to force her to be someone that she wasn't had to have been impactful. It had to have been awful, horrific, especially if you have a partner that is judging you for not being a better public speaker, for not going on your own, you know, outings and such more often, or going abroad by yourself. If you have someone that's being hypercritical and undermining your self esteem, oh boy, oh boy, you know what I'm saying? That may have played a part of it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know anything for sure, but that may have been an aggravating factor. Is that I could imagine? I mean, we have seen William mock people. We have seen him laugh at people. He doesn't have a good sense of humor. As a matter of fact, he can be a bit of a rogue. So imagine being married to Willie Leaks. Imagine him having no filter because, after all, I'm William. I do whatever I want to do. Imagine some of the stuff that has come out of his mouth and what that could do to someone's self-esteem. So this is another one that just like sticking out. I remain deeply concerned. Not Kate and I, but I remain deeply concerned about the terrible human cost of the conflict in the Middle East. Since the Hamas terrorist attacks of October 7th, too many have been killed. I, not we, I. Where's the we? There is no we and I, though, is it? Yeah, Gwendolyn Daniels, that little period of time when the book came out, when Endgame came out, and it seemed like the cover had been blown, right? And the truth was out. Maybe that truth was awful for her. Maybe that pushed her over the edge. Maybe, among other things. But yeah, if you have been doing certain things to people allegedly, and then all of a sudden the tables turn, and just think how many of the derangers were cheering them on. Think of all those derangers that was cheering on Kensington Palace, cheering on the royal reporters, the royal rotas. Just think how they were being cheered on by all of those haters out there. And now their standard bearer, the savior of the royal family, has not been seen for 2 months. And people fear the worst. Imagine that. Kate's engagement numbers have been basically the same for year to year, with exception of pregnancy, birth, and the pandemic. She didn't do more engagements last year. It seemed like it. It just seemed like it. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. It seemed as though, but again, when you think about the numbers, I'm inclined to agree with you that I don't think she did as that much more. But maybe it was just the way they were hyping it. Or, Tash Mac, I got one for you. Maybe it's because of the dressing up like Meghan, right? Maybe that's why it seemed like it was more, is because we were going dressed up as Meghan. Maybe that's why it seemed like there was more to it. That's probably what it was. It was probably because we were pretending to be Meghan. And therefore, there was more shade, more discussion, more, likes and shares and so on. So maybe that's what it was. Okay. Thank you for that. I didn't look at it that way. So yeah, it's not we, it's I. It's not we, it's I. Now, I'm going to go through this really fast. So what we saw was William Cipher, right? That's Willie Cipher. This is William and Kate Cipher, dual cipher of Prince William and Princess Catherine of Great Britain. This is the dual cipher of Prince Harry and Princess Meghan of Great Britain. If you notice, Willie's cipher is designed so that you can just literally erase Kate from it, and it's still it's like they designed a breakaway cipher, right? So you could easily remove one of the initials. But the Harry and Meghan cipher is the H and M combined. Now, as you can see, the M seems to take dominance over the H. But then again, the H is, pretty dominant as well. But yeah, that is a H and M. So there's H, there's H and there's M, a combined cipher. Now, right there is Prince Stride out with own household. So that is William and Harry's cipher, right? Everybody gets a cipher. That is from 2009, as they were starting to take on more responsibilities and such. They had their own designated cipher, right? And then right there on the left is Charles, on the right is Camilla, and it's hard to see it, but in the middle there's a double C. That is Charles Rex, that is Camilla Regina, and of course, Charles and Camilla Rex and Regina. You have the two C's there. Now, what I think is fun, though, I only just discovered this tonight. Why does Camilla's coat of arms include a wild boar? On Camilla's 58th birthday in 2005, Clarence House announced that she had been granted by Queen Elizabeth II a coat of arms for her own personal use. It was reported that Queen Elizabeth II, Charles, and Camilla all took a keen interest in the coat of arms creation, that is, and they were prepared for Peter Gwynne Jones, Peter Principal King of Arms. A new grant of arms was made in 2023 after Charles' accession as king. Camilla's coat of arms impaled the royal arms to the dexter, with her father's own arms to the sinister. Well, if it's sinister, that definitely sounds like Camilla. But yeah. But I could not believe that Camilla's coat of arms was a wild boar. Oh, and you know what? I just noticed that boar looks aroused. I didn't notice that before, but it looks like that boar is yeah. Well, anyway, for such a savage consort, I think the boar is more than appropriate. I think, as a matter of fact, the boar actually humanizes her to some degree. They should have found something more vicious. I think the boar actually humanizes Camilla, if you ask me. Yeah, it's even got her hooves, doesn't it? It's even got her hooves. But how clever of the queen, because the queen really didn't like Camilla. I could just imagine now the queen saying, "Oh, and make sure you include a boar for a boar." Yes, I hereby bequeath a boar for a boar, a wild boar for a Rottweiler. Yeah, I wonder if that was the queen's idea. But yeah, that is Camilla's coat of arms. That's what she used as the Princess of Wales. I think so too. I think so too. I think the queen was being a bit petty. I think the queen was being totally petty. Oh well, with the hooves and the tusk, I definitely can see the resemblance to Camilla. Okay, moving on. So when you see our queens, it's time to go, and you know what I mean. So thank you, everyone. Congratulations to our new moderator. Um, Uneasy lies the head that bears the crown. Or, as I like to say, go get them. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Got one more from Legs. That ABC Invictus documentary has William shook. Many of the Royal Rota bots. Oh, you're talking about the one with Harry. Meghan Mole are saying that it is on Hulu to try to cause what is that travesty with Netflix? Oh, you're talking about Heart of Invictus, that ABC Invictus documentary. No, as William Shook, right? So many of the Royal Rota bots and Meghan Mole are saying that it is on Hulu to try to keep people from watching it on Netflix. Isn't that dirty? Isn't that dirty? Yeah, and Petal was saying that she didn't feel that Netflix had put enough effort into advertising. Of course, they really couldn't because of the strike, but even after the strike, you know what? I think we should all share it on our social media. If you can, please share links to Heart of Invictus so people can find it, right? If you can, please do that. Share some links for Heart of Invictus so that people can find it. I mean, we can counter that. If there's enough of us that we can counter that. We all have social media, so I think we should. That'll be thank you, Legs. I didn't realize that that was a thing, but I am definitely going to make sure that I do what I can. But yeah, we need to counter that then. What a dirty trick. God, what are they, Republicans? Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. And let me see. What? I gotta find something to close us out today. Maybe. Nope. No, not that. Oh, I know. This is a good one. This will be a matter of fact, this will be a combination last word and close for the day. I hope this makes sense. I haven't seen it for a while. But yeah, good night all. Sorry to keep you guys up so late. Of all the royals, senior working, status or not, Harry and Meghan are the absolute last individuals who should be speaking on behalf of the British royal family, or stripped of their Sussex titles, which were a wedding gift from Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II, not King Charles. But even if the implicitly biased firm and senior working royals choose to do, it really won't affect those of us, outside the UK and the Commonwealth, who recognize and appreciate their genuine value to the world. Plus then H&M will actually be able to use their marriage titles, Prince and Princess Henry of Windsor, which actually has a lovely ring to it. To those of you with the capacity to take on a non-UK tabloid-influenced perspective, it remains a staggering reality that all of these title-stripping threats are simply due to Harry and Meghan's courage and determination not to allow distortions and blatant lies about their interactions with others, as reported by the UK's revolting toxic press, to stand. They simply dared to go public and offer their lived experience against the fake scripted narrative implanted into the British public consciousness by palace PR teams, private secretaries, and Camilla themselves. For the UK, a region once known for its higher education, good manners, and leadership, to fall so far from grace and now be known for its greedy, culturally intolerant, misogynistic monarchy, obsession with toxic tabloid headlines, and refusal to acknowledge its dishonorable history of enriching their people by way of enslaving and trafficking POC, people of color, not to mention their theft of resources and artifacts from the conquered and occupied nations of the British Empire. It is a sad state of affairs, one I pray my own country takes action to distance itself from. Thank heavens I was born in Canada, where I was taught to think, to read, to research, and to not just gobble up what was being spoon-fed to me by the newspapers, my textbooks, my teachers, my parents, etc. We are educated here for the most part within a framework of critical thinking and within a culture of acceptance and inclusion, with a strong abhorrence for hate and gossip. Many of us here and elsewhere in the world who lived through the era of Diana were quick to recognize that the old playbook that sought to destroy the reputation, charitable work, and legacy of the Princess of Wales had been dusted off to destroy Diana's youngest son and his new multiracial bride. How predictable, how sad, how utterly vile and narrow-sighted. I mean, how have so many Brits fallen for this sick game again? It's baffling. How any of you really believe that all of a sudden these two long-established humanitarian-focused public figures, on vastly different global scales of course, suddenly morphed into who and what the tabloid rags reported them to be, just defies common sense? How does that even pass the sniff test? Nova Cula Alchemy. Harry and Meghan, both before and after meeting one another, were extremely popular in their worlds and known by the overwhelming majority to be hardworking, focused, driven, kind, compassionate, articulate, grounded, and more than anything ethical in their occupational work, their philanthropic work, and in their personal lives. Agreed, Harry knew little of the truths faced by people of color in the Americas and the Commonwealth, and Meghan knew little of the truths behind the palace gates and norms still beholden by the British upper crust, but they had one another to teach them. They both learned, they both grew, and they both adapted well. However, that growth and adaptation strengthened the quality of their philanthropic work and royal duties to such a degree that they clearly began to eclipse others closer to the crown itself. It is the failure of the firm not to leverage that learning, that strength, and ultimately that tremendous popularity into something that could have levitated the entire royal family into a super force of global humanitarianism, international public goodwill, and prosperity for every nation of the Commonwealth and the UK itself. But no, instead, the firm and British royal family principles themselves fell back decades to their toxic tactics based on insecurity and jealousy towards the contrived destruction of two family members, largely based upon cultural intolerance, Meghan's American-Canadian culture that is, implicit bias, Meghan's race, social class, caste, gender, and perceived lack of usefulness. Harry, as the once spare, now 3 times removed 6th in line of succession placeholder. We, the many factions within the Commonwealth and the loyal fans of Meghan pre-Harry living outside the UK, see the truth of who Harry and Meghan were and continue to be. The facts speak for themselves. Here are some examples. 1. Harry and Meghan remained silent while serving Her Majesty, the Queen and country and Commonwealth. The firm and other principals within the British royal family did not. Instead, they used the tabloids to diminish their current popularity, ability to serve the crown, and the historical record of their earlier pre-relationship philanthropic service and careers. 2. Harry and Meghan never shred their lived experiences until after stepping back, after the assaults on them continued voraciously despite their relocation abroad, and after an entire year of no accountability, no civility, and no response to their efforts for peace and coexistence. The firm and other principals within the British royal family continued to feed the tabloid beast with lies, leaks, and decisions that put the couple and their children physically, mentally at risk, that impacted both the companies and new hires they were working with professionally, and that publicly discredited the humanitarian work undertaken by H&M and the Archewell Foundation, including efforts on behalf of military families and veteran families. 3. Harry and Meghan have a decades-long track record of speaking truth to power. The firm and other principals within the British royal family have a decades-long track record of protecting the heirs at any cost, regardless of truth and circumstance. 4. Harry and Meghan remain surrounded by highly respected, creative, and humanitarian-oriented friends and colleagues of the highest order and repute, earned by their good deeds versus inherited wealth. The firm and other principals within the British royal family remain surrounded by elitist-minded courtiers, tabloid reporters, editors, and friends within the British aristocracy, positions in society earned by their inherited wealth off the backs of enslaved people of color decades earlier versus their good deeds. So until I see a vast change in King Charles III's treatment of Harry and Meghan, the rest besides Eugenie and Jack are likely a lost cause, I will support our country's growing efforts to discontinue our relationship with the UK and Crown, because frankly we Canadians long outgrew you in our individual and family values, our cultural inclusiveness, and our duty to engage in the reparations process with our Indigenous peoples, an endeavor Harry and Meghan are actively helping us with. Most of you, beyond the amazing Sussex squatties, probably didn't even know that, did you?